We are back on July 3rd in the middle of the summer. And I had originally planned this episode to be a transfer special, and it may still end up being a transfer special. However, something has changed in my mind about where we are currently at. The board has rejected my request to go on a coaching course. The reason being is they want to be selfish here. They fear if that we continue to make progress, that the club is going to lose us to bigger and better opportunities. But this is the second time that the club has rejected our request to go on a coaching course. And the reason this is an issue is because I don't have any coaching badges. As a result, my attributes are terrible. It is hugely important for us to go on coaching courses and use that to increase our coaching attributes because that's how we're going to improve in this save. That's how we're going to build this nation. We need to become a better head coach. We need to become a better team. And part of that process is getting our licenses. However, this is the second time now that Manila Monte has rejected the request to go on a coaching course, which makes me think we're not going to be able to progress in the way we want at this club. So that got me thinking at looking at some new job opportunities. And at the moment, 14 of 16 teams have head coaches, which means there are 2 head coaching opportunities potentially available to us. One of these clubs is Air Force, which is the team we finished just above in the league last season, and we could declare interest in the job. However, I'm not a huge fan of how the club looks at the moment. Pretty much everyone's contract has expired. I don't think this would be a good situation to go into. I'd rather stay at Manila Monte than move to Air Force. However, the DHC job is also open. And DHC finished second last season, although they lost in the semifinals of the playoffs to Stallion. And this could be potentially an interesting job. I can't apply for it for some reason. I'm not sure why I can't, but I could declare interest in the job. This is a good team. This is a team that would definitely progress the build a nation save a lot more than we're already at. And this is a team I don't mind going for. I'm actually going to declare interest in this job to the media, and we're going to see if this potentially leads anywhere. All right, we have officially declared interest in the DHC job. Let's see what happens. It'd be very, very different from the Mendiola save if we change jobs here. But right now, I wouldn't mind that. That being said, though, I could be getting completely ahead of myself. There also could be a chance that we don't get anywhere near it because, again, for some reason, I can't apply for the job. So maybe it's not even possible. I'll let you guys know what happens. Well, we did not get the DHC job, and at no point was I even able to apply for the DHC job. I don't know why that was the case, but that means we are continuing with Manila Monte. But anyways, that's the situation right now. I'm still in the middle of trying to get transfers going, so I'll catch up with you all soon. All right, I am a little bit into the future. I'm now at the end of preseason here, and of course we are still at Manila Monte. But the rest of the episode here is going to be a transfer window recap. I actually haven't been able to sit down and record anything for a while. I just had a job interview today, so I've been focused on that. A recap of the transfer window, what the team looks like going into the season, and what my plans are for the rest of the season. Before I get into the team, though, first and foremost, I want to address the financial situation here, which you guys might be seeing. Our payroll budget allocated by the board is £389 per week, and I am spending almost $3,000 per week. So looking at that, you guys might have a couple of questions. First, how is that possible? And second, why? And I'm going to answer both of those questions. So to answer the first question, how are we able to spend so much over our wage budget? The reason is that once you've gone over your wage budget to a certain extent, You can still sign players to new contracts, but what the board does, or at least the game mechanics are, is that you can only offer them the minimum salary possible. So, for example, if I was playing this game and I wanted to offer someone £500 per week, the board would not let me do that. It would only let me offer the minimum that I can, which is £100 per week to any player. So I can still sign new players and bring new players in. I just can't offer them any more than the base salary. The base salary here is £100 per week, which most players are still fine with accepting. So I've just been able to bring in new players on £100 per week. And as you can see here, other than my youth player and the players on loan down here, everyone is on the same base wage. Okay, so that answers the first question. Question number 2 then, you might be wondering, is how are we going to make money as a club? Well, $3,000 per week is what we're currently committed spending, and that should include, like, this committed and current spending should include performance related bonuses and appearance fees and things like that. So it should be around $3,000, maybe a little bit more, but not too much more. So $3,000 per week times 52 weeks in the year comes out to roughly $156,000. If we over budget that, maybe we're going to get to $165,000 in the year. Last season, I believe for finishing in 8th place or so, we made $175,000 just from that in the league. So as long as we finish where we expect to finish and we continue our progress, we will be fine financially. So I just want to get that out of the way. And if we go further in the PFL Cup or finish higher up the table, we'll make even more money. So I just want to get that out of the way when you're looking at the team and wondering, man, how can you guys afford this? That shouldn't be possible. That's how we're doing it, and there is a plan here. I've thought about these things. The only area where this might not be so good is the working within the payroll budget actionable objective we have here. But I'm not too worried about that. The board, they're not even paying for me to do my continental badges, my coaching badges. All right, they can pay for the players. Also, I want to note something that's really annoyed me is that Jason Cruz here, who's my assistant coach, who as an assistant coach we like, but the board is paying for him to get his National A license. And this happened after they rejected me from getting a National C license. I'm not even going for the same. I'm going for a lower license. My assistant coach has better coaching qualifications than I do, and the club will not let me get more coaching badges. This is why at some point we are leaving this club. The board has done us dirty. We are leaving. So even if I do ruin the finances, who cares? We're not staying here. It'll just be a question that we get in an interview. But you know what? I just did a job interview and it went all right. So I can do it in game, you know. It'll be fine. It's just really bugging me that I can't get coaching badges. Anyways, enough of that. You guys don't want to hear me complain. I don't want to hear me complain. So let's calm down, take a breath, and let's move into the transfers. So we've made a lot of transfers here. We've made quite a few. And we've sort of been in an interesting position where I'm not sure if our first 11 is better than last season. However, our team, our squad is definitely better than last season, which I think will be really important for us. I've signed a lot of players here. I'm not going to go through all of the players, but I'm going to go through the ones who I think are important, and we'll do a little transfer recap, and that'll be the episode for today after we failed with the DHC managerial position. All right, tactically, we're rolling out the 4-2-4 again. I love this formation. We stumbled upon it, and the Mendiola save, we learned that it works really well. It's close to the meta for Football Manager. So this is something that's going to work well for us. So this is the team. The big loss, I think, that we have right now is we don't have a Jay Soberano anymore. Jay Soberano did not want to return to the club. I couldn't sign him. I couldn't get him on loan again. So we were not able to bring him in, which it does leave us a little bit light in the winger positions here, which I think are important. But still something we could fix in the future. But areas we have improved massively. I think our defense and goalkeeping positions have improved massively, and we've maintained our striking positions. So this is where we've improved, but As I go through, you'll see why I don't know if our first 11 has improved, but our squad as a whole definitely has. So first up, goalkeeping position. We have brought in Ray Joyelle, who is a player we had, I believe, in season 2 of the Mendiola save. So we've gone back, we've brought him in. Phenomenal goalkeeper for this level. Things that I really like to have for any goalkeeper, but especially at this level. There's going to be a lot of crosses coming into the box, good aerial reach, and then decent one-on-ones and good reflexes. So we have a good shot stopper as well as a player with good aerial reach who can command the box well. But we haven't just brought in Joyelle in the goalkeeping position. Another player we had from the Mendiola save is back, Mr. Kenneth James. These were our 2 goalkeepers in the Mendiola save in season 2, I believe. And we brought them back to Vanilla Monte. I'm so excited to have them. If we do a little comparison here with Ray Joyelle, 2 very, very similar players. I think Joyelle edges him out just barely, but they're very similar. We have 2 really good goalkeepers. Rounding out the back line now, we have some familiar faces. Christopher Reyes, once again, comes in on loan from Mendiola. He was the only loan we were able to extend, so he's back. I think he's a very good center back. Alongside him, we've moved Ariel Ngo into the center back position. We've re-signed him. Again, we're looking to make that 15 jumping reach work super well, so hopefully that'll be good for us. But we have 2 new fullbacks now. On the right, we have Christopher Ambon, a very solid fullback for this level, decent pace, but most importantly, good tackling and crossing, so he'll also be a threat going forward. And on the left-hand side, we have Clifford DeCara, a very, very pacey player, excellent physical player with good enough crossing and tackling. I think he's actually going to be really, really good. The only other player who we could be playing on the right back position is Mahmoud Ali here. He'll probably start for Ambon when he's fit, but currently he's injured. He has a double hernia. He's out for 4 to 7 weeks, so he's out for a little bit. I'm hoping at 32 years old, he doesn't decline too much, but he's got actually good physicals, good tackling, good crossing. But if not, Ambon will be just fine. But that is our starting back line. But the nice thing is we also have now we're deeper in the back line. So we have players who can come in. As I mentioned, we have Ali. We have this guy, Mark Perez here, who can play all along the back line. So he's going to be a really good player to have on the bench to play in those positions. We've brought back Luis Porteria. We've signed him. So he's not just on loan anymore. He is a player that we have signed. Looking further up, we have this guy here, Francis Mendoza. Actually a really solid center back, someone who will start some matches. Not great technically, but I think he's got pretty good physical attributes and all right mental attributes for this level. And here we have Raymond Reyes, another player who can play in the middle and on the right. Actually, he's much better technically and pretty decent physically as well. So we actually have depth in the back line now. We have players who we can bring in into the starting lineup and off the bench, something we didn't have last season. So we're looking a lot better there. All right, now we're going to move into the midfield positions, where I think this is the area we're probably the weakest at the moment. So we have our midfielder from last season, Elmo Pabalona, player that I really like, player we had last season. 3 goals, 5 assists, 6.8 overall rating, so pretty solid. But next to him will be a name that you all are probably familiar with, Jovic Albino. What a fun player to have once again. He was with us for a few seasons in the Mendiola save, but something with Football Manager is that they don't actually know where players play in regions where they just don't have a whole lot of scouts. So Albino here is playing in a different position and might even be a different age. I don't think they have all the correct stats for him. But I believe in the Mendiola save, he was a winger, so he played on the left and right. I also remember him having really good jumping reach in that save. But here, he's a center mid, but a very good center mid, mind you. For this level, good first touch, good passing, good technique, vision and work rate, good pace. So he has all the attributes for a very solid Metsala, an advanced playmaker, even a center mid on attack. And that is exactly how we're going to use him. We have brought him in. I'm really excited to have him. He'll be an advanced playmaker on support next to Papelona. But again, we have a little bit of depth here, but I don't think it's super quality depth, but it's all right. So we have Razan here, very good technical player and someone who I might end up playing more because I like his corners. Like his 13 corners with Ngo's 15 jumping reach could be really deadly together, but he's just so poor physically. It's hard for me to justify starting him. Another player we've brought in, and you guys will remember from the Mendiola save, is Dexter Chio on loan from the Philippines youth national team. For him, again, another player who Football Manager doesn't know a whole lot about. In our previous save, he was a forward, I believe, with good finishing, composure, and off the ball. Here, he's a center mid, but a very similar player to Albinho. The only reason that he's not starting is because, one, I think Albinho is a little bit better, but two, we've actually signed Albinho, so he's a player that I'd rather develop as opposed to someone that we have on loan here. But again, another good player and a player who will come off the bench. He is injured at the moment, but he'll definitely be coming into the side. And here is our last center midfielder. Nothing really exciting about him. He's got good physicals. Otherwise, he's not very good. He probably won't play a whole lot. So that takes care of the center midfield positions. Next up, we have the wing positions. So David Garcia, he's back from his injury at the end of last season. I mean, last season he was brilliant, 10 goals, 9 assists. If we can get similar output this season, I think David Garcia will be really good. Flanking him on the right is Karol Bungsu here, another Bruneian. We've gone into Brunei and done our best to get some of their best players to help improve the squad. I think he's pretty good. You know, crossing 7, dribbling 7, pace 12. So he's got the makings of a decent winger. He's no Jay Soberano, but overall he's pretty good. Solid ratings in Brunei so far. So hopefully he'll bring something good to the winger positions. But I've gone kind of just signed a bunch of wingers. I think these are important positions, and I think I'm going to end up just, all right, who's ever good is the guys we're going to go with. So we've also brought in Manuel Yuhiko here too. I don't know if he's so good going forward. He's 33. Physicals aren't great, but he does have good, like, crossings 11, first touch 13, dribbling 8, work rate's good too. So I think he's a player maybe we could bring off the bench. We also have Lewis Sykes here, who I think is kind of an interesting player. Not super good technically, but his physicals intrigue me, and his mentals are okay. So we brought him in as a depth option, but who knows? Maybe he's the type of player who could go on a hot streak. And then lastly here, we have Mod Ibrahim, another Bruneian, a player who's pretty good. He plays on the left, so he could be a player that takes over David Garcia's spot. I'm continuing with Garcia now, just because he played so well last season. I think Garcia's a little bit better, but Ibrahim here is physically better. And I mean, he's got better crossing, same dribbling. So looking at the attributes that maybe are important for a winger, that's where Ibrahim might be a little bit better. I don't know who's going to end up playing most of the season. Again, we'll be taking kind of a committee approach early on, I think. And then whoever wins the spot wins the spot. So those are the winger positions. Overall, the midfield of the team is probably where I'm least confident at the moment. I don't think we have a whole lot of star power in the midfield. So it's definitely going to be whoever wins the spot wins the spot. We're going to see who's on form. We might be interchanging a lot. Could be end up being positions that we use the subs. We use our squad depth that we now have in matches to help change the game. We'll see how it works. There's some players I'm excited about here. In particular, I think Albinho is a player who is exciting in the center mid position. I just wish out wide we had a little bit more going there. We liked Jay Soberano last year. I don't know, again, if we have quite as much quality out wide, but hopefully we'll get the output that we need from them. But all right, finally, we move into the forward positions where things are looking pretty similar. We got Vitriolo still, Carlos Vitriolo, a player who I really like. Super good last season. Again, we're looking at good finishing. We're looking at good pace here. Just wish that off the ball was a little higher. If he had off the ball was higher, he probably wouldn't be playing for Manila Montaigne. He'd probably be on a better team. But last season, 17 matches, 12 goals. We got him halfway through the season. So with 30 matches, I don't see why he couldn't potentially get 20 goals in a season. And then, of course, we still have Jasperman Johari. He is unfortunately injured at the moment, so he will not be playing in the first match, but he's coming back soon. Again, 12 finishing, 12 composure, 12 off the ball, 12 pace, and 12 agility acceleration. Maybe I should have made his number 12. He's just got a bunch of 12s for attributes. But again, 9 goals in 14 matches. Very solid. I think him and Vitriolo were well up top together. However, unfortunately, Johari is injured at the moment, which means we've brought in 2 loan signings in the forward positions. First up is Rusli here. He is a Malaysian. I don't think he's great, but it was really difficult to find good forwards that improved the team. So he's coming in as just an off the bench option. Reasons though that I like him: heading 12, jumping reach 7. At this level, that's pretty decent. So he could have a variety of types of goals in him. The last player we have here is Akil Aziz, another Malaysian. Again, a player we're bringing in on loan. Again, a player who's good. It's just that off the ball isn't great, but he's a player that reminds me a little bit of Vitriolo. He hasn't scored a goal in his career yet, so hopefully he'll get one for us. And then, of course, we still have our youth player, John Thalork, who I don't think will play a whole lot, given that he's only 16. He's still young. He's not brilliant, but who knows? Maybe he'll come off the bench. And he did get a goal for us last season. It was off a pen, but yeah, he was still good. But anyways, that's the transfer recap. That's the team. Let's talk about the future of us at this club and our plans for this season. So to be perfectly honest, not being able to get my coaching badges, I think, is a real hindrance to the potential of this Build a Nation save. So at the moment, unless things change in that regard, I am not planning on staying at Manila Monte for very long. I'll probably leave at the soonest opportunity. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that with DHC, but it is something that's on the horizon. That being said, I still obviously want to be successful this season, improve our reputation, and things like that. So, plans for this season. We should finish in the top half of the table this season. Last season, again, so that you guys can see, we finished in 8th. We have a better team this season. I want to be moving into these top 6 positions here. If we can get into the top 6 positions and contend for the playoffs. Now, playoffs, we have to finish top 4, which I don't think we're quite there yet. But if we're in a position where we're in and around the playoff picture, I would be delighted with that. I think that is what we want to be going for this season. Move up the table a little bit and start contending for those playoff positions. We don't necessarily need to get into it, but if we're contending for those positions, that'll be really good. And I think that'll give us a platform to maybe get a better job. And as long as we finish in the positions that we're trying to go for, our finances will be fine. The club will be in a good position. We're not going to be leaving the club in some terrible position. The club will be fine, and we'll be able to move forward exactly as we want to, leaving the club in a good position as well. Beyond that, though, at the moment, we only have 5 players in on loan. I think one player who I forgot to show actually is Abanez here. The reason I forgot to show him is because he's ineligible for this upcoming match. We got him on loan from the Philippines youth team, so he's ineligible. Also a good player, also a player who can play fullback. So that's him as well. But we only have 5 players in on loan. We could get another 2 players in on loan. If we do that, we'll definitely be looking for the wing positions or maybe like a really star forward. But otherwise, I think the team is looking good. I think we've had a solid but not great transfer window. I think our great transfer window would have been improving this first team squad a lot more. But we've had a solid one because we've been able to improve the squad and the squad depth as a whole. But all right, that's what we have moving into season 2 of the Philippines Build a Nation Save. We're making strides with Manila Monte here. We're slowly improving in the PFL. But I feel like the club might be holding us back a little bit. So we'll be keeping our eye out. Just little whispers here and there of places we might look to go in the future within the Philippines. But until then, we are all in on Manila Monte. We're doing all right here, and we'll see where we go. So those are the goals for season 2. That is the transfer window recap. And the next episode, we will be back for, I think, just one match. So I think, oh man, do we play Mendiola? No, I don't think we're going to do that. We've had a lot of Mendiola. We don't need to see us lose to Mendiola again. I think I'm going to play one match against the Philippines youth national team. The reason that I'm only going to play one match is I am going to be trying a new method for recording matches because the audio on matches I know isn't very good. So I am going to try a new method of recording it. But that way, if I totally botch it, I won't have botched it for 2 matches. It'll just be the one here. So we'll be back for this match here against the Philippines youth national team. And then maybe we'll come back for like Aguilas and Air Force or Air Force and Gorelli. One of those matches moving into the future. But all right, thank you for watching. I hope that you all are doing well and taking care of yourselves. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.